I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the 15th meeting of the Board of Directors for this calendar year 2023. We'll begin with an invocation by Corey Scott, and I'll lead the pledge. All rise.
Let us pray. Eternal God, we thank you this evening for your grace, your mercy, God, and we thank you for this wonderful city. God, we thank you for our elected officials, those who are volunteering, and all of us that serve in some capacity. God, we pray that everything we do will be pleasing in your eyesight in a manner in which serves this city even better. Bless us now as we discuss and decide. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Director Aaron Holliday. Director Phyllis Beard. Director Marcia Dobbs-Smith.
Here.
Director Dudley Webb.
Here.
Director Karen Garcia. Director Steve Trusty.
Here.
Mayor Pat McCabe.
Here. Tonight, Director Holliday, Director Beard, and Director Garcia, they're representing our community and with others, sending a delegation to Hanamaki, Japan for the Sister City program. So they left us, and we can do whatever we want, right? We've got four of us.
Quorum is present, Mayor.
A quorum, right.
Quorum is present.
It would take a unanimous vote of any action to move forward. So.
That's fact.
All right.
Oh, get along.
So we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions to the agenda, or items to be moved from the consent agenda to new business? Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I move to move R-23-151 to new business. There are just some questions, concerns that I have that I don't think will hinder this project moving forward, but will just provide just a little bit more transparency, and that's the reason for motioning to move this item.
Anybody have a problem with that? We're all good with that. That'll be the first item under new business. We only have two items under new business, so that'll be the first one. Okay, motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Director Dow-Smith, Director Webb, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Consider approval of the minutes of the regularly held meeting on August 15, 2023. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes as presented?
No, sir. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
We've got a motion to
Second.
approve, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. We have two proclamations, very special proclamations this evening. The first is Constitution Week, and I'll present that to Miss Peggy Kipp, Regent, John Percival Chapter, the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. The City of Hot Springs proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2023 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. And now, therefore, I, Pat McCabe, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, on behalf of the entire Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2023 as Constitutional Week in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals that the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on this 5th day of September in the year of our Lord 2023. And I'll present this to Ms. Kipp.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, the Daughters of the American Revolution, thank you, and the council for helping us celebrate the Constitution and Constitution Week so we can help our citizens remember the importance of this historic document. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second proclamation will be presented to Sarah Richardson, Executive Director of Literacy Council, as this is Literacy Month, and Sarah and Dr. John Simpson are here. Literacy Month, City of Hot Springs Proclamation. Whereas literacy is the ability to understand, evaluate, use, and engage with written text to participate in society, achieves one's goals, and develop one's knowledge and potential. Literacy can mean the difference between a life well lived and hardship. And whereas 43 million Americans struggle with literacy and basic math, and 20 million immigrants are not proficient in speaking English. And whereas according to the 2018 program for the International Assessment of Adult Competencies, 20% of adults in Garland County struggle with low literacy and 31% with low mathematical skills. And whereas the number one indicator of a child's reading ability is the reading ability of the child's mother, outweighing factors such as income and school district. And whereas workers age 25 and over who have less education than a high school diploma had the highest unemployment rate and lowest median weekly earnings in 2019 among those at all education levels. Whereas for every $1 spent on educational programs in correctional facilities, an estimated $5 is saved in reincarceration costs. And whereas nationally, less than 10% of adults in need of improved literacy are receiving services. And whereas 28 million adults in the U.S. lack the basic digital skills needed to use a computer, yet most are using computers every day on the job, making the need to invest in digital literacy to ensure a competitive workforce imperative. Now therefore, I, Pat McKay, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, on behalf of the Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as Literacy Month in Hot Springs, Arkansas. A witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on this 5th day of September in the year of our Lord 2023. Present this to Sarah.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the city's support for the last 3 years since I've been involved with the Literacy Council. We just wrapped up our academic year at the end of June, just like the schools do. And so we served 118 adults last year, totaling 1,408 instructional hours. 8 of those adults got a job and 3 got a promotion. There are other goals they met, like reading to their child for the first time, understanding their healthcare needs better, and quite a few digital literacy skills, as the mayor mentioned. This will be the last time you'll give this proclamation to the Literacy Council of Garland County, because we are officially becoming the Literacy Council of the Ouachitas to reach the unserved counties of Montgomery and Pike and Clark County. We're looking forward to this next year, and we turn 40 in November, and so we'd love for you guys to stay tuned and come out. We're going to have cake and celebrate 40 years of service to Garland County. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call Anthony Whittington and representatives of the Hot Springs Friends of the Park for a special presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Well, the Hot Springs Friends of the Park is presenting Hot Springs Parks and Trails Department with a special gift. in the amount of $30,565.19 for playground equipment for Family Park. So I'll show you a picture. This is what's going to be. It's called a rail rider. It's kind of hard to see from here, but what it is, it's 55 foot long, and one side of it has the traditional braided cable with the donut that a child can sit on, and you slide back and forth on the rail. It's banked on either side, so when the kid goes up, it'll slide the kid back down. And the other side will be an ADA compliant chair that you can buckle a child into as well. So it's got two lanes. And this will go up on where the horseshoe pitch used to be on the other side of our pond. That flat area right there is where the playground equipment will go. So we have a gracious gift from Hot Springs Friends of the Park for this. So this time I'd like to turn it over to Ned. We also have Barry Horner, the treasurer of Friends of the Parks, and Dr. John Simpson with Friends of the Parks as well. So at this time, Ned's got a few words, though.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to tell a little bit about Friends. Most of you maybe know, but we strive to help with parks and trails. And the trails are beneficial, we think, in connectivity of bicycle and pedestrian, and beneficial to the economy and quality of place. And I know there are a lot of worthy activities in the city, and but we do appreciate some amount of effort going with that too, as it has been, and very much appreciate the staff and cooperation. And there's a lot in the master plan and 2040 comprehensive plan about that also. So very much appreciate the relationship with everyone. Might say that this brings our dollar impact since 2004 to 1.77 million. So working to try to help, and it's private funds complementing public activity. These trails, like you know, are a fair amount to install, but feel like they're worth it. So have the check here for the zip rail. Just go ahead and give it to Anthony. And it's from Art and Claire Merkel, actually, who he was a city planner, I believe, maybe parks person in Kansas City and retired here. And they established a treasury bond 25 years ago in 1988 to be used for Family Park. So that's where these funds are coming from, and we appreciate that very much. Also like to thank the board members. Of course, you guys are volunteer, all staff we appreciate too, but thank you for your efforts. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sitting in for our city manager, Mr. Bill Burrow, is Deputy City Manager Lance Spitzer, and he'll provide the city manager's report. Lance?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep the remarks brief. I know we've got an agenda we need to get to, but kind of to dovetail off of some of what our Parks Director, Anthony Whittington, was discussing. We do have a couple events coming up in Parks and Trails, specifically Linden Park. The new playground area is going to be opening soon. Linden Park, of course, is located just very close to downtown off Whittington Avenue. The turf's been installed, and they're anticipating of having an opening for the new area to take place next week. So that week of September the 11th, kind of keep an eye out on the release for that, and that'll be a great event. Additionally, with Parks and Trails, they have the Tykes, Trikes, and Trails. So don't try to say that 3 times fast. That's coming up. That's a free event taking place Saturday, September the 23rd, 10 a.m. to noon, and that's at Energy Park, located at 140 Energy Park Lane. This event is an outdoor bicycle event, so if you don't have a bike or a helmet, there are a limited number of bikes and helmets for those attendees, but do want to kind of give a shout out to Hannah Rice, our Trails Coordinator. She received a donation of some bikes from Recycle Bikes for Kids. That's a nonprofit located in Little Rock that takes bikes and refurbishes them and donates them so that youth and young adults will have a bike. And additionally, Parkside Cycle donated some helmets to go along with that. So really want to thank those two entities, and of course Parkside being local, we're very appreciative of them as well. Now this is from Human Resources. They took part in a Veterans Career Fair at Henderson State first time they'd done that, and they had a really great response from that. So they will continue that partnership. And believe it or not, there was a great interest in our city engineering department, which is is always a department whenever we're out talking with individuals. That's a department that gets a lot of attention, so we're glad to hear that. But certainly, we look forward to continuing that partnership with Henderson State and their Veterans Career Fair. So, with that concludes the report, Mayor.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from individual directors regarding announcements of upcoming events. Director Dobbs-Smith, no upcoming event?
Not now.
Director Webb? Go ahead.
I do want to mention, I think Bridge Street Live is tomorrow, Wednesday, September the 6th, I think starting at 6 o'clock.
Very good. Director Trustee?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. These are of a routine nature. They do not merit individual discussion. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Director Dobbs-Smith, second by Director Trustee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved. This time we'll consider resolution R-23-151 and ask city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-151, a resolution approving change order number 1 to the contract with Hanson and McLaughlin LLC for professional engineering and construction management services for the Gulf of Basin Force Main Extension Project. That concludes reading. Mayor, if you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Director
So moved.
Trustee, seconded by
Second.
Director Dobbs-Smith, and staff report will be by Mr. Todd Pillar, Project Manager. Welcome.
Thank you and good evening. This resolution is for just the additional professional engineering services and construction management to add a 24-inch parallel force main to our Gulf of Force Main project. This new 24-inch force main will replace the existing 20-inch force main that has failed several times this year. Failures have caused unnecessary overflows at manhole 1750, which led us to our CAO with the DEQ, and the force main route, the 24-inch force main route will follow the 30-inch force main route we have designed already. And the funding, the $100,000 extra engineering costs will be funded out of the 2020 wastewater bond.
Any questions of Mr. Pillar? Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I'm trying to wrap my head around this project, Todd, and there may be some points that you need to help me with, and then there may be some questions that I have along the way. I do realize that the purchase here for these pipes include 2 phases, right? There's phase 1, which is essentially what we're viewing today with this change order, correct?
Yeah, this change order only has to deal with phase 1.
But I do know too that as a result of this purchase, there could be potential overlapping of the lines that run into phase 2 too, right?
No, sir. This is from the pump station to a manhole we call Chase Place on Humphreys Road. And phase 2 will pick up from Humphreys Road and run to Davison Drive wastewater plant.
Okay. So that's probably where the questions or concerns that I have is where it picks up on phase 2. And I just thought it was better. You know, I was contacted by residents here of Garland County and who live pretty close to where these wastewater lines are being installed. And their concern was that the lines, at least where they go on phase 2, or at least were projected to take place in their front yard. And I shared these concerns with city staff. And this is Shady Grove Road, 1605 Shady Grove Road. The concerns were, you know, essentially that not only is it in their front yard, but because it is a wastewater line, that it could run the potential to deplete their property values. There could be odor that could prevent family events from taking place in their front yard, and that also, this is land that is in this family for almost a century. And there is someone there now, Ty Humphreys, who is the grandson of Mr. Humphrey, who lives in this home. There's thousands of dollars that this family has put into this property and this home, not to mention the land itself being in existence for the Humphrey Dairy Farm for a number of years. And they just want to maintain its integrity. And so I shared these concerns with city staff, and it was met with open arms and reception. And I think there was some alternative placements for where this pipe could go, that city staff needed some time to have the engineers kind of look into it and see if the flow could still be reached at a different site, which would take the installation of these pipes for phase 2 at least off of the front yard and outside of the fence line into like some undeveloped land that might not have as much of an impact on the property value and then the quality of life for the family that lives in the home. And I think city staff did determine that that could work. And this is approximately 40 to 50 feet to the east of where the original proposal for the installation of these lines for phase 2 was to take place. And so I really just want to thank city staff for acknowledging the concerns, the real concerns from this family, and for working tirelessly to see if any other alternatives for the pipeline installations could take place, which it did come out to be not only beneficial for this family, but it also does still allow the city to be provided with these excellent services for the wastewater plant and allow the lines to function at its 100% potential. I think really a lot of the questions that may be directed to you to answer moving forward might actually come from Mr. Ty Humphreys, who did sign up to talk. But I was just going to make sure that I was sharing with you, Todd, and then others here tonight, the reason for me, motioning to have this item come over to new business, and then also provide the somewhat of the dialogue that I was having with city staff and then with Ty Humphrey and his family, and the positive resolution that came out of that, because this is a big deal for his family, and it was very sincere and professional and cordial of the city to acknowledge their concerns and issues and meet this family the way that it did. So I appreciate city staff. I appreciate everything that we did to make this accommodation moving forward for phase 2.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further questions of Mr. Pillar?
Well, I'm curious, what accommodations are you referring to?
Well, it's my understanding that instead of this phase 2 pipe installation taking place in the front yard of 1605 Shady Grove, that it was determined that it could be moved outside of that fence line, which is about 40 to 50 feet to the east. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
That's one
But it's
option.
really irrelevant with the board action request I have tonight, though. Tonight, I want to get a change order put together for $100,000 for the 24-inch parallel force main that needs to go from the pump station to Chase Place.
Yeah, I do realize that the property at 1605 doesn't necessarily have a 100% direct connection to this particular order, but it does at some point later on have an indirect effect. So it was important for me that these concerns be heard tonight as we continue working on this project that does have 2 phases.
The current phase that we're addressing tonight is just, like you say, it's just parallel to the existing pipe to that Chase Place?
No, we're, the existing Gulf pump station will be used for dry weather flow, like a day like today. The new pump station that we bid will be built and go through the 30-inch pipe parallel to it. Okay? We have to get rid of the 20-inch old 1974 steel pipe that's the existing force main. That's the cause of a lot of our problems. So the easiest way for me to do, or staff to do that, was to cut the project off at where the 20-inch pipe goes to Chase Place, build the 24 and 30 to that point, put the old pump station on the new 24 and get it running while we get ready for phase 2.
So phase 1 is from manhole 1750 to Chase Place. I think Harmony's got a map she can put on your screens. There are 2 phases. The one that you're seeing now is phase 1. The dark, maybe that's a dark blue, black line. That's the proposed route for phase 1 going to Chase Place. And
Yeah, we have to leave the existing 20-inch in service for the pump station to pump to Davison Drive. While we're going cross-country, then we're going down Keystone Place and Humphreys until we turn and go to Chase Place manhole. And that will be the 24-inch force main, and the 30 will just stop and cap it until we're ready for phase 2.
And so on your map that you're looking at, you'll see 20-inch. That's the current line. All of the lines that you see there are what is currently there, not the diameter of the other proposed lines, but that is the route that the proposed lines will take.
Now, are you saying that the 24-inch would essentially run along that same route as 20? Is that what I'm hearing? Where is that on this map?
The 20-inch goes Catherine Heights to Shady Heights to Humphreys,
Okay,
and then turns and goes to that Chase Place manhole.
right.
We have to leave that line in service. We can't get near it. If we dig near it, it'll rupture again. So what we did is I got easements through the property owners on towards the bypass, and we went around the other way, and then we'll go down with the 24 and 30 down Humphreys, cap the 30, and the 24 will go to the same manhole that the 20-inch pumps into now.
So that line or proposed line is not on the map.
It is. It's the blue, dark blue, like Brian
Oh, it
said.
is a dark blue. Oh, we kept seeing the 20. Oh, okay, I see where,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
there
that's
you
the
go.
new one. The old one is a yellow. Well, I don't know if it's on
Yeah.
there or not, but
Well, it's
it goes
the
down
same-
Catherine Heights to Shady Heights to Humphreys. We had to avoid that.
yeah, I got you.
Okay.
There wasn't much options as far as alternatives of where we could go, and we decided to go out in a bunch of cow pastures on there along the bypass and stay away from the houses on the street.
Very good. Any further questions of Todd? Thank you.
Thank you.
This time I'd like to call Mr. Ty Humphreys up and allow you some time to address this resolution. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Get this going. So, first of all, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to all of you as well as the city staff. My primary concern with the proposed project was that the initial location was 40 feet from our front porch, and it was not just a structure, it was a pit that was going to be dug into our yard, 60 foot by 60 foot, taking our fence down. I felt that it posed potentially a safety hazard as we're trying to have children in the next year. Additionally, I was concerned with possible malodors. The structure that's going to be placed on our property is not just the pipes, it's a weir box, an odor control system, and vent. Knowing that it's approximately, I believe I was told 80% of the city's sewage, it was definitely concerning to us. I do believe that over time, pipes can develop a little bit of sludge around the edges, and it produces more hydrogen sulfide gas, and I know that that is heavier than air. So we wanted to have the time to basically be heard and have our questions answered in regard to how much that will impact our property value, how much that will impact safety, you know, with hydrogen sulfide being heavier than air, and kids playing in that area. I thought that that was something that, like I said, we needed more time to address. So I do appreciate you guys all taking the time to hear me out. Additionally, I do believe Mr. Pillar has worked in an effective and efficient manner to try to meet our needs halfway, as well as you guys. So again, thank you for that. He did agree to have the structure moved, I believe it was 40 feet to the east, like Mr. Webb said, in order to keep that, the visual integrity of the property intact. We do have a fence. It is hog wire. It is see-through. However, there's a brush line there. And as long as that is over to the side visually, we are comfortable with that. Again, our only concerns at this point and what we wanted to have addressed question-wise were with the odor and the safety of everything. There is a business next door to us as well, which is an outdoor wedding venue, and I felt like they may be impacted as well by the scent of things should it ever fail or should the scrubbers not work as efficiently as possible. Even if it's 95% effective at scrubbing, 5% of 80% of hot spring sewage is still quite a bit. So anyways, thank you guys.
Any questions of Mr. Humphreys? Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure this is really directed to Mr. Humphreys, but do we have somebody here, maybe Mr. Todd, who can kind of expand upon what the odor effect might have as far as safety measures go? What could Mr. Humphreys expect by even having the installation of these lines being moved over 40 feet? If it's 5% of 80% of the sewage from Hot Springs, do we have some kind of...
As my wife says, there's smooth water and lumpy water. This is lumpy water. It smells. But as I explained to them, the reason why we want to come off Shady Grove Road is because our crews check our major lift stations and things on a weekly basis. And this odor control system we're going to put in is a passive, so there's no blowers running or noise for the kids to be playing outside and hear or whatever. We will also put a privacy fence up, and when Ty talked about the cutting into the hill, the top of the privacy fence will be even with their front yard. So it's down at elevation 430 and their yard's at 440. So we'll have an 8-foot privacy fence all around it. The cartridges, again, are a potassium permanganate carbon mixture. So when the crews go there weekly, it changes color from purple, because potassium permanganate is purple, and carbon black to white. So all they got to do is pop the lid and look. If it starts to change white, they change your cartridge. So it's a real easy thing for somebody to do to change a cartridge out. And Monty Ledbetter and Bobby Harris of our utility department have gone and looked at these things down in Florida. And there's a slew of them in Jefferson County Parish down in Louisiana that we've looked at. And they work. They're not like a chemical metering pump with a liquid sitting over here and you're dripping it in the wet well. It doesn't work like that. It's as the pumps pump the 32 million gallons a day to Davison Drive, the water displaces air, and the air goes out the ductile iron pipe to the odor control unit. No moving parts.
Would there be, what might you say is the technical name for this project, at least as it relates to Mr. Humphrey's area? What is that?
Well, the actual weir box itself is not part of the Hanson McLaughlin change order we're talking about tonight. It's part of the Christ pump station that bid that we're over the budget on right now.
Would there be any examples close to here that maybe Mr. Humphreys could visit? I know you mentioned Florida and Louisiana. Are there any in Arkansas?
No, this is a
that
new one
function
for
this
us.
way?
This is a new one for the city of Hot Springs.
Where's the closest one to here?
Probably Jefferson County, Louisiana.
Okay.
But I could. They sent me. You can watch a YouTube video. You can watch brochures or whatever. But like I said, Monty Ledbetter and Bobby Harris, our utilities director, they went down and looked at these things and they said they work. I have confidence in him.
And is where the new placement, how many feet outside of his fence line would that go? Did you say, and it is still feasible to maintain the functionality of the
Yeah,
wastewater lines?
He has a fenced-in yard, very nice fenced-in, a very nice fence yard. So we went outside of that. I was going to go 35 feet, but Ty and I talked about it. We went 40 feet just to make sure.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Very good. Let's see. Any further questions of Todd or Mr. Humphreys?
I have one quick question. Was there already an easement there?
No, ma'am. Brand new. Again, the force main pumps to a manhole, and the manhole runs by gravity to Davison Drive on the, I can't pull up the map, but on Pound Ridge Circle, the gravity main is just behind all those houses on Pound Ridge Circle, and then it runs by New Hope Baptist Church across the street, and we can't get in there, so we're going to come down through Luther Lewis's, the wedding venue. He gave us the easement to come down through his property.
You want to see phase 2?
Is that
Yeah,
it?
there you go, right there, yep. And then, once we get to Shady Grove and turn towards the wastewater plant, we're in, I'm gonna call it pasture land. So we can dig our 36-inch pipe or 30-inch pipe 5 feet away from our existing pipe and not disrupt any of the other easements going through the Humphreys property.
I drove out there and I couldn't really tell. All I could see was marks on the ground with the spray paint. So I wasn't really sure where the property was and where the easements were, if any.
Yeah, we have the surveyors coming out early next week to mark the new location and to also mark the corner property of him and Luther Lewis's property, so he can see where it is in relationship to the corner of his property.
Thank you.
Todd, how deep is that sewer line?
Arkansas Health Department makes a 36-inch minimum
From the top?
from the top.
Yeah.
So you got 36 inches, then you got a 30-inch pipe and a foot of bedding material, so you're 7 foot deep.
At the base.
Yep.
And I liked how you explained how the air is pushed out and then it's just the air going through this, what'd you call it, the mixing, where that tablet is?
Oh, the cartridges?
Cartridges, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, it's foul air. Mhm.
Very good.
There will be, on this first phase that we're talking about tonight for engineering, there will be one air release valve, if you will. But it's, if you know the terrain out there, there's just south of Malvin Avenue a little bit, there's a creek that runs through, crosses Catherine Heights. And from there, it's a billy goat up to the top. At the top of that hill is Michael Jones' property, and we will have an air release valve out in the pasture, if you will, out there.
All right. Any additional questions?
Todd, I know this is just for phase 1 tonight, but looking again at phase 2, so that's a single main that will be on Shady Grove as it runs along until it meets up with the existing 30-inch, and then
No, it'll be a single main all the way to Davison Drive. There won't be any manholes. Once we go from his weir box, it'll be a 30-inch pipe all the way to there without any manholes. Yeah, single main, yeah. The double main starts at the end of, on Humphreys Road up there by Chase Place.
Director Webb?
We just need to replace that 20-inch force main.
Thank you, Mayor. So as we're looking here at phase 2, where in relation to where the new line is the air release? The field that was being mentioned, where is that on this map?
That's on phase 1.
Oh, that's on phase 1. Okay.
Yeah, that's up about a half a mile from the station on top of the hill in a field. That's why we went cross-country.
This is
So,
Okay.
I can't, where the big triangle parcel is, About right in the middle. You'll see a blue line that runs through. There's a creek.
Yep.
At the top of the hill from that creek, there'll be a 6-inch.
Would you say that that mitigates a lot of the gas that would come out at the weir box too?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, it might be 80% of the sewer and wastewater from Hot Springs, and 95% is going to get catched by the weir box. But a lot of that too is going to come out where the air release valve is out in the middle of this field as well?
Correct.
Okay.
It will. Give you an idea, the Gulf of Basin, Fountain Lake School comes with the Gulf of Pump Station.
That's how much.
Fountain Lake School comes with the Gulf of Pump Station. Give you an idea of the area.
One last, this Jefferson County in Louisiana, were you saying that you went to this site too? To view this weir box?
Monty Ledbetter and Bobby Harris did.
Okay. Was it in a residential area, undeveloped?
Right next to a house.
Residential? Were there any
Monty said
complaints by residents?
None. 0. As long as you change those cartridges out, when they change colors from purple and black to white, pull them.
What does expense look like for those cartridges? And how often do they have to be replaced?
Well,
are they on a back order? That's a different phase.
No.
Phase two.
That all depends. That all depends on the strength of the hydrogen sulfide that's being displaced through them.
Gotcha.
However, the odor control unit on a capital cost, because I'm a capital expenditures guy, is about $110,000 a piece.
But now the air release in the field, again, mitigating some of that smell, could allow these cartridges to last longer than they would in other similar wastewater lines that don't have the air release.
Correct.
Right? And
Yep.
just the weir box? Okay.
Correct.
I appreciate your time breaking this down for me and maybe others too. I'm starting to wrap my head around it, and I just want to thank you for working so well with Ty Humphreys and his family.
They've been great.
Thank
They came
you.
to City Hall, met with me last Thursday. I went out there, saw their concerns, and I get it. You know, they got a 36-inch oak tree right in the middle of our 50 by 50. I said, this ain't happening. So
Thank
Very
you.
good.
we'll be good.
Do we have anybody else that wanted to come forward and speak on this resolution? Please feel free.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Come forward, sir, if you'd like.
Thank you. I just wanted to extend my gratitude to everyone, and I appreciate the clarification on everything. Did you need to speak? Please.
No.
Yeah, he's coming.
So, this weir box thing is a concrete thing. How big around, or how big is that thing?
8 foot by 11 foot.
Okay. And it was gonna be right on our property. When you move it down towards the dairy, a fair amount of that property, it goes up the hill, is still past our real pretty fence down to another fence that was there when I was a kid. And that is not Luther Lewis's land. That's still our land. And I don't mind them moving it there, but they shouldn't have to worry Luther Lewis with some of that, whatever this big structure is being on Luther Lewis's land. It's still gonna be on our land. And I hope their surveyors, I'm sure surveyors, know what they're doing. So just want to be sure that that is no part of that is on where the pretty fence is. It can be, and I'm a little worried about the elevation. When you come up from the dairy up to where our land is, where they're thinking about putting it is pretty high. It's above. They're going to pump it up there, and then it's going to go downhill from there because it's gravity. You know what I mean? So if they move it down towards the dairy, I was thinking maybe they need to take a dump truck and a bulldozer and build that up higher, so that it's beyond our fence, our good fence. It'll still be on our land, which we'll give them easement for that. I don't think we've given that easement yet, but anyway, we're real concerned about it decreasing the value of that house. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, that's phase 2.
Yeah, that's phase 2. Yes, sir. Last time I'll bother you, I promise. The reason why it was so concerning and everything kind of caught us off guard, the original plans, and he didn't know where the box was going to be originally, but the original plans just showed a line. And so all of this happened very, very quickly. And the reason why I came before you guys tonight was just to ensure that we had time to understand what was happening and to see what resolution works for both us and the city. We're in no way trying to impede any progress in the city, and in fact, we want it to flourish as much as possible. We love it here. Our family's been here for forever, and I just appreciate the opportunity. So yes,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
I was just going to ask, do we have any anticipation date as to when phase 2 might come up for discussion?
Well, are you doing bids on October the 9th for phase 1?
Okay.
Yeah.
May 2024.
Yeah, it'll be several months.
May of 24?
The good news about this discussion, as you know, as the title indicates, this is just the engineering work on these projects. So it's a good time to get it.
I want to thank the board for allowing this discussion to happen so that we can kind of wrap our heads around this project, what phase 1 looks like, and even looking further down the road as to what phase 2 looks like. And I appreciate the Humphreys for being here too to share with us your concerns and help us, navigate what is in the best interest of the city, and then also to appease your concerns as well. Thank you.
There be no call for, I think, we can call the roll, please.
All right, Director Dobbs Smith,
Aye.
Director Webb,
Aye.
Director Trustee,
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Our final action item of this evening is to consider Resolution R-23-153, and I'll ask the city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-153, a resolution declaring a certain structure located at 121 Chapel Street a nuisance and approving emergency condemnation actions pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion in a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
Motion.
Director Trustee, second by
Second.
Director Dobbs Smith. And our staff report come from none other but Michael Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. 121 Chapel Street. This vacant structure was damaged by a fire in May of this year. The owner of the property was notified that the structure was unsafe and needed to be removed immediately. At that time, the owner signed a demo waiver allowing the city to remove the structure. ADEQ rejected our notice of nuisance abatement and instead required that we submit a notice of intent. This process requires that we provide an asbestos survey performed by an approved agency. Arkansas Professional Environmental Solutions performed these tests, and the results of the NOI were then submitted to ADEQ. The building was removed on July 10th by Urban Slate at a demolition cost of $6,600, and the asbestos survey was $695. So we have a total of $7,295 on this property. This is an after the fact. We already tore it down. So, do we have any questions?
Any questions of Mr. Scott? Thank you. We didn't have anybody sign up for this.
No, sir.
Any discussion amongst directors? Please call the roll.
Director Webb,
Aye.
Trustee,
Aye.
Dobbs Smith,
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution adopted. This concludes the action items to be addressed tonight. Under board commentary, items for discussion. Any board member have an item they'd like to discuss? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Director Trustee, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, pose same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.